Hi Dex.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us once again for another episode of the My Legal Wits podcast, where we talk about legal industries and also at the same time how AI and technology can transform the way that we empower citizens in the Philippines. And today we want to talk about a very important topic. I'm sure that you'll agree with me, Dex, no, and everyone who's watching this. The rule of law is really under strain right now. And it's become
Yeah.
more and more evident that it is, I would say, more than ever, or maybe if not more than ever, at least more evident than ever before. We really need more clarity on what the law is, what the law can do to protect our rights, and how we should interact with the law. And today our topic is teaching law, and this is really for if you're a law student or if you're aspiring to one day become a law practitioner. The topic is this: teaching law when rule of law is under strain. We'll talk about
Yeah.
how we can train the next generation of lawyers and empower them even with tools like Leia AI, no? So that they
Yeah.
can think clearly, that's one, but also have a system that feels less noisy. So we're going to talk about some of the ethics behind law, pairing law students for the day that they will be people who can uphold the law for every citizen, and how AI can even support them. Not replace, by the way, but can support their judgment, and how we can even, in some way or another, make this practical. So Dex, I have a question, and parang
Yeah.
we'll start with the heavy-hitting one right away, no? Rule of law versus rule by law. How do you explain the
Wow.
difference to law students without getting partisan about it?
Yeah. This is very relevant today, Patrick. No?
Yes.
Kasi rule by law is actually rule of men, not of law. The main difference is that the rule of law means everyone, including the government, is accountable under the law, which means applied equally and fairly. In contrast, rule by law uses law as a tool for government to exercise power and control. In other words, oppress, with the rulers above or exempted from the law. Nakikita natin ngayon no, the powerful are the ones, the vanguards usually, or should be the one who should be implementing the law faithfully, are the ones above it, or they use it to oppress enemies or even dissenter. There are a lot of features about this one, the rule of law and rule by law. There's government accountability, the purpose of law, equality, source of authority, and key principles. Isa-isahin natin, no? For government accountability, government and officials are held accountable under the law. So pantay-pantay yan. Ruled by law naman, government officials are above or can be exempt from the law. With regards to purpose, the purpose of rule of law is to uphold justice, is to protect rights, and prevent the arbitrary use of power. Ang rule by law naman, or rule of men, is to serve as a tool for government to shape behavior and maintain control. Again, it's the weaponization of the law.
Yeah, right. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. I think na if you think about it, no, this is even more important. I mean, as a non-lawyer, this can really be a source of fear for citizens many times. Na parang, okay, especially if you're dealing with someone in power, there's always that sense of, I don't think I'm gonna be served justice here. I was just so interested talaga when we were discussing this topic, because I think for many Filipinos, we think that that's the norm already, yung rule by law. Kasi parang in some way or another na nasan yung the everyday Filipino is now used to the fact that there are people in power who can push their weight around. And I think that's
We
really
shouldn't
one
be.
of the which it shouldn't be, and that's one of the things that we're really trying to do here with My Legal Ways as well with AI, because we believe in democratizing the law so that everyone now has the capacity to, because like this is very cliche, but knowledge is indeed power, and legal knowledge is power, and we want to give
Yeah.
people that capacity to defend themselves because they know that the law is on their side.
Yes, exactly, Patrick. No, another feature of a rule of law is equality. Yung sinasabi mo, yung hindi selective ang hustisya. The law is the same for everyone and applied equally. That is ideal. Pero we are very far from the ideal right now. It's not
Right.
like 50-50. It's like 90-10. 10% applied, 90% hindi. Rule by law kasi is law can be applied sa yun nga, selective justice or change to suit the government's needs. Kung makikita mo dito, no, kasi it's the best example talaga yung government natin, Patrick. No, I don't want to be too political about it, but let's go and focus with the law. For example, the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte. When I observed it as a lawyer, no, not as a person who's favoring a politician or not, no, he was not given the due process to be able to have his own counsel, that is constitutionally guaranteed, own counsel to defend him during that time, and he was not presented to a competent judicial authority. Nevertheless, he was taken and sent to The Hague. And according to the law, it's according to the Rome Statute, Article 59, if I'm not mistaken. You can check that, Leia. Ang sabi na Article 59, before you even arrest or before you even detain a person, you need to present him or her to a competent judicial authority. Former President Duterte wasn't presented to a competent judicial authority, pero since we are in a situation where there is fundamentally no rule of law but there's rule by law, the Department of Justice presented itself as a competent judicial authority. Remember, there is a news clipping, pero according malinaw ang batas natin, if you look at jurisprudence and the laws, the Department of Justice is not a judicial authority. The judicial authority are only the courts. So basically, they bent it. That is the problem of rule by law. The government is the ultimate authority, bigla. The law is a tool of that authority.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason why we need tools that give us non-partisan breakdowns and analysis, which, of course, like a tool like Lay AI, for instance, has no kind of like commitment or dedication to a certain political leaning.
No.
And because that's how the law is supposed to be. The law is supposed to be non-partisan. But if, sometimes if you go to the media, for example, social media for an analysis or news, even just like what's happening, there's a hint already of a bias to it, and so that's the reason why it's very highly important. I think, like, even as a non-lawyer, and even as just a citizen of this country, I try my very best muna to understand what's really going on. Every time there's news coming out about someone who is being arrested or a political decision or a crime like corruption or whatever it might be, because again, we need to look at these things from a non-partisan lens, and if that's something that a non-lawyer should practice, then I believe even for law students and for aspiring lawyers, that should be a practice as well. And I guess the question I have for you, Dex, is this: how do you think AI can help us provide that streamlined, yes, but also non-partisan form of legal research, legal guidance to the everyday Filipino?
Yeah. The law, or Leia AI, should be faithful with what the law says. So what we're doing with Leia is we made it maximally quote-unquote truth-seeking by providing it with a database that is neutral because it's based on legal citations, jurisprudence, laws, rules, and regulations, and not based on opinion of any other person or an interpretation of a lawyer, an interpretation of a non-lawyer or professor, etc. Kung ano sinabi ng batas, yun ang nakasite sa Leia. And then you can come with your own conclusion based on the law. That's why we don't want to meddle with the content. The content itself is the law.
Yeah, that's a very insightful, and yun nga, parang in some way or another, that really does help not just a lawyer but even a non-lawyer. Parang if I had a question and I really want an answer that's straightforward, Kasi hindi naman lahat ng question talagang kailangan ng guidance ng lawyer, di ba? But once again, and we've said this a couple of times already in the past, there are a lot of very highly accessible sources out there, whether it's Google, ChatGPT, social media, but there's always that hint of this could be wrong because baka may hallucination, may fake news, or there's no credible sources. What we did when we built Leia AI is we wanted to remove all of that risk, no, to anyone who is using the tool. Now, I think that if we really zoom out a little bit, Dexter, and look at the situation of the country, it's also an indication of how crucial legal education is today. We need a new breed of lawyers who are well equipped, who are ready, because we need we have a lot of students right now who are hungry for justice, who want to do what's right, who want to protect the Filipino people, which is great to see and super encouraging to see. Pero you also have on the other side the massive enemy that they have right now, no, of people, systems that are out to silence them,
the pressure,
and to put pressure on them so that we can keep rule by law, not rule of law. If you were a law professor today, what would you say to a law student, or how would you prepare a law student for a future in legal practice?
Start with values. Patrick, you can be a great lawyer. You can memorize the codals, the legal codals, the jurisprudence, the laws, but when you're not anchored with values, with truth, honesty, justice, word of honor, which are the basic elements of justice. No? Kasi word of honor is like contracts, diba? Justice is just being fair with other people, respecting their rights, doing your duty and obligations. Honesty, what is true. Yun muna. Kasi ang nangyayari ngayon, the reason why we are ruled by law, that there is no rule of law, is because our leaders lack those values. Do you agree, Patrick? Those fundamental values, like for example, what do we need to do to be able to give an example to the corrupt politicians who stole taxpayers' money? The law says when someone stole money, they should be prosecuted and they should be jailed. Pero hindi nangyayari yun. Why? Because all bases are covered. If you observe it as an ordinary person, makikita mo lahat nakakover yung tracks eh. Ibig ko sabihin, hindi makakagalaw yung korte kasi bayad. Hindi imbestigahan kasi bayad din. 'Di ba? So the values of honesty, justice, word of honor, 'di ba? And basic good character hindi present eh. So ako, if I'm the professor, legal ethics first. And that is number 1, legal ethics. Kasi technical education can be learned eh. You can memorize things. Pero ang legal ethics, kailangan ma-embody yan. So I will push on legal ethics.
Yeah, that's a very good starting point, I believe. And if we look at what legal AI can do today versus what it cannot do, one powerful element still in the human element to the practice of law is really ethics ba? And compassion for your comrade. So I agree, Dex, no, na parang aanin mo rin yung technical knowledge
yung galing mo
have, 'di ba? Yeah, exactly. So I think, in retrospect, seeing everything that has happened in the many decades that we've kind of like been struggling with, abuse of power, kung meron lang sanang leaders then who would choose to stand for justice, for equality, having compassion over the citizens of this country, how far would we have come? But I mean, we're still hopeful. It might take a lot of work, pero it's not impossible. And I think this is what we're trying to do with the AI. We're trying to empower talaga legal professionals who want to do what's right, to serve the Filipino people by enabling them with a tool that can help them to do that even more at a greater scale. So talking about and shifting to AI here, no, the big question mark I think that people are asking now, especially lawyers, no, is this AI obviously is changing everyone's job. And that will apply to you if you are an accountant or a marketing professional or a writer. But all the more right now, even for lawyers and legal professionals. I truly believe that AI is going to change many, if not all industries in some level or another. So the question, I guess, is this, no? How can the next generation of lawyers, whether they're law students right now or they're planning to take up law, prepare for a world where AI exists already in the legal industry? I guess, like, more specifically, how can they use this tool to help them improve their practice, not to make them feel threatened by the technology itself?
Yeah, I agree, Patrick. No, AI really took us by storm. For the future lawyers, they need to be able to focus on the human aspect of lawyering, because the technical aspect of lawyering, which is legal research, writing pleadings, writing demand letters or motions, affidavits, etc., are taken care of by the machine already, by the artificially intelligent machine. So what's left for human lawyers is really to use that intelligence and augment their own human intelligence and provide customized, humanized services to their clients. Meaning, you can focus on, kasi ang justice kasi, it's not the job of a legal AI to provide justice. It is the humans who will provide justice. It will just give you the basis of justice, which is the law. So the human aspect of the law is justice. So as a lawyer, you focus on justice, delivering the law to the right people or equally to people or to the society. Yun ang magandang focus ng lawyers and law students ngayon.
Yeah, and that applies actually across the board. Like, personally, for me, I'm in the marketing space. And so people were saying essentially na, uy, may ChatGPT na. ChatGPT can come up with marketing ideas. That's true. However, there are still some things that AI cannot do, where you really need, a marketer who can think, who can strategize, who can understand the customer, who can tell what a good message is versus one that could, fall flat, or even to an extent even have ethical problems also. So in the same way with lawyers, it's the same way. I mean, like, you can use legal intelligence, like legal artificial intelligence, to augment, not replace, but augment your human intelligence. So one thing that a lot of people are worried about, of course, with AI in the mix is integrity still, because while in some way or another we are missing a lot of elements of integrity still right now kahit wala pang AI in the mix. But there is, I guess, like, a different form of integrity that people are worried about. So one would be hallucinations, that could only bring on more misinformation and misguidance. Right now, with the current state of artificial intelligence, with these risks still being very valid and still something that we're trying to work with, how do you think that people in the legal technology, or at least in the AI space, and then people who are going to use that technology, how can they put guardrails to avoid those kinds of risks?
The job of the lawyer, the job of AI is not to replace the mind of a lawyer. So what does that mean? Hindi pwedeng hook, line, and sinker, tatanggapin mo na lang kung ano sasabihin ng AI sa'yo. You still need to verify the cited information, because AI is still not perfect. Even if you have a legal AI with citations, there is a percentage. There is still a percentage na pwedeng magkamali. So you still need to check the citations. Check if it is correct, kung tama ba yung quoted excerpt na yon, and before you even submit it to court or before you give it as an advice to your client. This is where it comes in, kung ano ang role ng AI. AI doesn't replace your intelligence, it augments it. So what does that mean? So if it just augments it, you still need to check on the sources, verify if it's correct before you even have a final draft over it. So that is the role, and that is what you can do against the hallucinations of an AI.
Nice. Yeah, I think I agree with you, no. Now, yes, there are citations that should be pinned, pero we wanna still have integrity checks, 'di ba? And minsan we also have times where we post, law checks on our Facebook page and our socials. And importante na may ganung checks pa rin, human checking, and yes, AI can help you speed up the process, but you want speed kasi with assurance, assurance that the law is being applied the right way, that the law that is being cited, or the case that's being cited, is not a hallucination. I know, of course, with Leia AI we have greatly minimized those hallucinations, but yeah, I mean, like, in some way or another, we're not at the point yet where it's a completely zeroed out risk. Highly minimized to the point that it will significantly make a difference, no? But not quite to the point na ano. And also, personally for me, I don't even know if we will see that day na talagang perfect na yung technology. Kasi even technology can break down. Like, as we're recording this yesterday, we had Amazon Web Services had a major outage. And then ang daming mga services na nag-down. So there is that very minor chance that technology will fail. But like the 99.9% of times that it will empower you, it can really make you a better lawyer. So next question, Dex, no? Let's dive into a little bit of what you mentioned earlier. The issue of some people in power weaponizing the law and using it to their advantage. How do we teach courage with method to law students and even to law practitioners now?
Wow. Let me think. What does the law mean? Para saan ba ang batas? Para saan ba ang batas? So that question is very important. Is it to oppress other people? Should it be used to get advantage over others? No. If you know the purpose of the law, which is to give justice, to give what is fair and due to other people, to know your rights and obligations and duties, you know what to do about it. No. You know how you can use the law for the benefit of the society. So yun ang kailangan na maintindihan ng mga estudyante. Para saan pa yung batas? No, para saan yan? Hindi yan para gamitin mo para makalamang ka. Gagamitin mo yan talaga para mabigyan ng hustisya yung mga tao, magawa mo yung obligasyon mo sa society, and malaman mo yung mga karapatan. Basic, Patrick, pero nakakaligtaan nito eh.
Yeah.
The problem with a lot of, for sure, law schools is they just focus immediately on the technical stuff. Kasi mahirap naman talaga eh, reading cases, exams, no, etc. Pero the constant instilling of legal ethics and values, nagkukulang eh.
Yeah.
Why do I say that? Look at our country right now.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, I guess in some way or another, I'm, of course, this is not an expert opinion, but this is just a theory that that I have kung bakit ganun din yung state ng law education natin ngayon, yung legal education, is because there is so many technical skills, technical requirements that you also have to learn if you want to be a lawyer. But again, a lot of these technical requirements, there will come a time na it will no longer be the bulk of what we're doing. And that's what technology is there to do. Diba? I mean, like, ever since naman talaga eh, there was once a time where the only way that you can get from point A to point B was to learn how to ride a horse or to, alam mo yun, maybe even run the entire way. But now, the technology of automobiles has removed that burden from you so that you can spend more of your energy and time on more important things like getting to school, going to work, going to the mall with your family. So technology has made that possible. So we can put more time. A lot of people are thinking about AI, no? There's observation that Ray Dalio once kind of like shared. I was listening to a podcast where he shared na parang tinanong siya na what's the world of AI gonna do to our productivity as human beings. He said, oh, it's really gonna ruin our productivity, but not in a bad way, but actually in a good way. Why? Because now we can spend lesser time trying to fit so many, things on our list, because AI is really taking care of that. So we can spend more time on the creative aspects of our jobs, the enjoyable parts of our not just our jobs, but even from a society standpoint. So parang sinabi niya nga na parang there will come a day where philosophy, art, and creativity will be our sole, hindi naman sole, but like our major pursuit. And we can now have the time to just be artistic and to dream and to think about that, because technology is now taking care of the practical things that we need to be productive.
Yeah.
And so the reason why I share that is because imagine what it would be like for our law schools in the Philippines, where you can basically just tell the students, oh, gusto mo mag-aral ng research, use a tool like AI, so that it will cut down the time, no? You just have to learn how to use this, and then we can spend more time talking about the ethics, the
values,
how values, taking care of
justice, honesty.
Right. So parang ang ganda ng ganong setup, 'di ba?
Yeah, I agree.
And
I agree, Patrick.
I know we're still far away from a time like that, but
we're starting.
And it's at least in some way or another we know how to get there. We need to really find a way to help lawyers and law students streamline the technical side of their jobs so that they can focus more on the human side.
The technical side can be handled by technology already. If you will look how we've used Leia, it's very powerful. It can do exams for you. It can provide you, as professors, it can draft a syllabus for you for your subject. It can draft Q&As for your upcoming exams. For students, they can practice using AI, using Leia. They can ask questions. They can let it draft documents. So everything technical, everything what you need to study the law nandyan.
Yep.
Ang kulang na lang is the application. Kasi even if you memorize or become very technically skillful in the study and practice of law, walang kwenta yan if in the end, in reality, nababayaran yung judge.
Yeah.
In the end, may backer pala yung kalaban mo na who violated your rights, pero may backer na politician na powerful. Hindi mo ma-prosecute, or worse, binaliktad ka pa.
Yeah.
So again, tama ka, Patrick, na when the technology provides for everything already, now we can focus on the most important part, or the more important part of studying law, which is focusing on justice, focusing on honesty, focusing on honor, using the law.
Yeah, and hopefully we will be a part of that revolution, no, of making that possible for law students from today until far in the future. So so let's kind of like zero in, Dex, no, on this statement that we say all the time here with Leia AI, speed with assurance. Why are both speed and assurance important for a lawyer?
Maraming trabaho ang lawyer. Example, in the courts, no, clogged yung dockets na nilatawag, no, clogged with a lot of cases that are unresolved. For example, like 10 years ago, there is a report, no, 10 years ago sa Public Attorney's Office, they have 7+ million cases that are still unresolved, clogging their dockets. So, if you have AI like Leia that you can rely upon, that provides speed with assurance that hindi siya nag-hallucinate or almost na hindi nag-hallucinate, you can speed up and declog the backlog, diba? Declog the cases that have been unresolved. So you can solve cases faster and you can give justice faster. So wala nang excuse actually ngayon at this stage, specifically, especially with using Leia AI, when a judge, a clerk of court, a lawyer, a public attorney, or a prosecutor uses a technology like Leia, they can be assured na mas mabilis yung mga turnover ng cases. It can reduce the backlog. At the very least, significantly reduce it.
Yeah, right. And yeah, those are really amazing insights to have, Dex, no? And I think that the more that we have these conversations, it's encouraging to dream about a day na empowered talaga yung mga law students, even law educators, and more important, and like eventually also yung mga law practitioners natin with technology, AI, especially with a tool like Leia AI, no? And so, I mean, law school and the law practice, it's a messy world. It's only getting messier now because of the rule of law versus rule by law situation. But if we play our cards right and we continue to empower lawyers, law students with the right tools, I think we will finally see the day na our country has more justice, that it has there's more peace amongst Filipinos. And yeah, I mean, we want to invite everyone, no? Especially professors, law students. We invite you to try Leia AI because this can really help you talaga. Help you as early as now while you're learning the law. Use it to ask questions, to understand the law, to understand how you can apply the law. But also later on, you can use Leia AI to work on cases. If you're a lawyer here today, I mean, this can help you to prepare cases, to prepare all the document, help you with the analysis, the research, so that you can put more of your time on the more important things and elevate the more important things, values, judgment, and having a heart for the people that you're trying to serve and protect. So thank you so much, Dex, and thank you to everyone who watched this. We'll see you in the next episode of the My Legal Biz podcast.